Good morning or afternoon for you if you are east. Um, okay, let's get started. Today we're talking about the six main reasons potential clients don't buy or say no. And it's actually not about money, even though most of us feel like it is. And the simple tweaks, the simple changes you can make that are going to significantly increase and maximize your sales, your yeses. Um, what I'm going to give you today is literally things you can take and use in your sales call, in if you are at an event or you're doing a masterclass and you're pitching, so in your pitch, and also on your sales page itself to essentially start getting past all these objections that client come up with. Um, because there's nothing more frustrating, and I know from personal experience, there's nothing more frustrating than having someone say no when you know you can help them. So not only is it frustrating, but if it starts happening over and over, then we end up being discouraged and we end up taking it personally when really it doesn't have anything to do with us or our offer. Um, but it might have to do with those things that you're not addressing in your sales process. So that's what I'm here to share with you and give you. So, for those of you who don't know me, let me introduce myself. I'm Ilsa. I'm a spiritual nerd. I'm a dog mama, and you probably will hear them bark at some point. And I'm an intuitive business mentor. I essentially help ambitious, soul driven service providers or service entrepreneurs who are in the field of transformation and healing to get booked out without burnout, with without having to do all this stuff, and essentially create a really simple business they love doing a lot less. And by the way, in case I forget, normally at the end of this live, I'm going to make an invitation for you to join me for a full hour for a complimentary aligned business breakthrough session with me to essentially help you to consistently enroll more clients with a lot more ease. And you will find all the information in the description of this live. All right, let's get started. So I want you to grab a pen and paper or open your notes or something, because I'm going to give you some very specific things you can do to essentially make your sales calls, your pitch, your sales speech significantly better and more effective at selling your offer. And you're not going to remember it all. So have a place where you can jot down some stuff so that later you can go look at the way you're doing things and see if you are talking about these things or addressing these things. What I'm sharing with you today comes from personal experience. A lot of people feel like, what I kept hearing, what my clients kept saying is people don't have money. I keep getting it's too expensive. And what I realized is that oftentimes when I was getting this, I can't afford it right now, it didn't matter what the price was. I pride myself in offering like really valuable, really in-depth mentoring and coaching. I have 20 years experience at a really reasonable price. Like I'm probably, and this is the social worker in me that I probably need to work through, but I'm half as expensive as most people in my field and then some. And it didn't matter. Even like a couple of years ago when I was, like selling what I'm offering today at like ridiculous prices, I would still keep getting the same objections. And at some point I had to realize that it's not about the fucking money. If it was about the money, I wouldn't be getting these objections when I'm offering something for a significant discount. So it's something else. And I started getting curious about that. I started paying attention when a client would come to me and have the same thing. I would look at what they were doing, how it was going, and I started seeing some things that they and I were potentially not addressing unless the client was asking the question, and then they would give me an opportunity to address it. But I was literally relying on the client having enough awareness to know why they weren't feeling comfortable moving forward so I could address it. And so I started paying attention to those things, and I came up with 6 things that come up consistently. The first 3 are mainly about clarity, and then the last 3 are essentially about your client's perspective, like something in your client's perspective that needs to be shifted so that they feel comfortable moving forward. So before I actually give you those 6 things, the first thing I want to say, and this is paramount, if you need to essentially be sold on your own offer, and it seems ridiculous that I say that, but I know from working with like brilliant genius people that oftentimes those of us who are soulful, who are intuitive, who are sensitive, don't always have the most confidence. We were raised to put people on a pedestal rather than ourselves, and we were oftentimes raised to be humble. I know I was. And so there can be almost something a little sacrilegious about claiming how amazing what we have is. And I find that a lot of very soulful, spiritual entrepreneurs have self doubt, or they lack self confidence or a sense of really being able to claim what they have. So that's the first thing is you need to be totally fucking sold on what you offer. The first thing is you want to know that what you do, what you're doing, what you're offering is so unique, is so amazing that to not share it would be a crime. To not put it out there for people would be essentially doing them a disfavor, would be selfish. So you want to ask yourself, you want to inquire, you want to look into, is there anything that you need to include or shift or remove in your offer for you to be like super happy with it, super confident sharing it, and be able to like literally like scream it off the mountaintop, so to speak. You have to be sold that your offer is crazy value, absolutely amazing, and you want to be 100% pumped to sell it. Because if you're not sold on it completely for yourself, you will struggle selling it to someone else. And then you won't share it. And that's an injustice that you're doing not only to yourself and to your work and your gifts, but to the world. So that's my little let's get started, because it's absolutely fundamental. And it gave you an opportunity to grab a pen and paper if you didn't have one. Okay, so here are the 6 main reasons potential clients don't buy, and some of the simple tweaks you can make to essentially maximize your yeses and significantly increase your sales. The first one of the main reasons clients don't buy is there's a lack of clarity about who this is for, who this offer is designed for. So what you want to do, whether you're pitching like this, or whether you are on a sales call or on your sales page, you want to have a simple thing that says, this is who this is for. And just clarify, like, this is for healers. This is for, soulful entrepreneurs. This is for action takers. This is for people who have this, and that, and are wanting this, and this. You want to make sure that you do not give an opportunity to your potential client to talk themselves out of buying because they think that maybe this is not quite for them. You want to have very clear languaging so that when your ideal client reads your sales page or is on a call with you or hears you like make a pitch, they hear themselves and they see themselves in your words, and they know that this was designed for them, with them in mind. So that's number 1. Make sure that you clearly define who your offer is for. And a lack of clarity of that will be an excuse, essentially, your potential clients uses to not move forward, because moving forward is scary. Change, transformation is scary. Number 2, the results or the outcome of your offer are either not clear enough or not compelling enough. So a lot of time, what I hear people talk about is they talk about everything that's included in their offer. And we all do that, right? Like people want to know how many calls they're going to get. They want to know if it's going to be video, how long the sessions are. Like they want to know all this stuff, right? But they think they want to know that. Really, what they want to know is what's in it for me? Like, who will I be when I walk out of working with you for those 3 months, those 6 months, that year? What will be different in my life? And so, what I find is that there's two things here. On one end, people will focus on, and by the way, if you can resonate to any of those, like give me a little heart, put a me in there, like let me know that like you've experienced these objections or you understand what I'm saying. Um, so there's two things here. One is either the practitioner, the entrepreneur is trying to stay too general. They're trying to appeal to so many things. And oftentimes I see that, hey Sharon, sometimes I see that with people because us as practitioners, as healers, oftentimes we absolutely can help so many people. And we can help them with so many different things. And so we often keep the the outcome of our work pretty general so that more people will relate to it. But what ends up happening is that it becomes kind of convoluted and people don't know what they're going to get out of it. And so there's a couple ways to do that. If you're on a sales call with someone, then you want to clearly define what they're going to get based on what they told you they wanted to get, right? Like if they're sharing with you that the reason they're in a session with you is because they've been struggling with XYZ for this many years and they really want their marriage to be better and to have better communication and to have more sex in their marriage and all of that, then you want to clearly say when, hey, we're going to work on this, and the outcome of you working together is going to be XYZ. And you want to literally address the things they want. And that's easy to do when you're one-on-one, right? It's a little less easy to do on a sales page or on more general marketing, or if you're pitching in a workshop or something like that. So when you are in a workshop and if you who you work with is a little more general, then you want to have some very clear example of some of the results that are possible for people. And that could be like literally said, hey, if you work with me, here's some of the things that are possible for you that I've seen. Your income's going to double. You're going to lose 20 pounds. Your relationships are going to go smoothly and the fighting is going to end and you're going to feel closer than ever. Like you want to actually list all the different things that people have gotten from working with you and that your client could get from you. What happens when you do that is people, the way our brains are focused, will dismiss what doesn't matter, but will hone in on what we relate to. So if you touch on 5, 6, 7 different things that are possible from working with you, and that again is if you're pretty general with what you do, your client's going to dismiss what doesn't speak to them, but maybe there might be 1 or 2 or 3 things in there that are going to call to them. And that's the thing they're going to focus on. So that's number 2 is you want to make sure that your client can see the very direct outcome of working with you and that feels super important, super relevant, super clear to them. And that's especially true if the kind of work you do can do so many things for more people. You want to help people make it make sense for them and have a real vision of exactly what they will get from working with you. So that's number 2. Number 3 is your offer doesn't feel unique. So you want to really claim something here. I hear that all the time. Well, other people are doing what I'm doing, or other people have more experience. That shit doesn't matter. You are uniquely you. And I guarantee you that you could take this live. You could take this live that I'm doing. You could write really great notes. And then you could go out there on your own page and you could share it. And it would sound different. You would add little things, you would remove little things. Your spirit, your energy would be different. The way you put it together would be different. There is no such thing as two equal things. Everything is unique. Everything is different, including you and including your work and including how you show up and how your work impacts people. So you want to make clear in your sales call, in your pitching, in your sales page, what kind of process you have in place, what kind of system or structure you are creating to bring about change. You want to find and tell your clients how what you do is different than what they've experienced, how you're bringing this piece that's usually always missing, and that's why they haven't gotten any results. For me, for example, I talk a lot about marrying strategy with energy. And I talk about a lot about either people are just doing energy and mindset or they're doing strategy, but you need both. And so I will talk about how they're the two wings of a bird. And in my program, literally 2 trainings a month are all strategy and business. And then 2 trainings a month are a retreat, are about embodying our sovereign leadership, are about releasing the blocks so that we can marry these things together to actually create the momentum and the success and not get in our own way. Because you can have all the strategies in the world. If you don't believe in yourself, if you're not able to take action, it doesn't work. So that's how I share what's uniquely mine. I might even add something about like, hey, a lot of those groups out there, they don't do any one-on-one or they're huge. My groups are small because I want to know every single person one-on-one in there. Or I add one-on-one work, one-on-one sessions so we can dive deep, just you and me. What makes your program different? What makes it unique? What makes it something they're not going to find somewhere else? Sharon says, so true. Something about this one too is in some ways when you explain how you're different from other programs, you're also explaining to your client how come they haven't gotten results before. What's been missing? I think for a lot of us, there's a lot of shame, especially if we've been trying to fix something, we've been trying to deal with something for a long time and it hasn't worked. There's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of like taking it personal, like what's wrong with us that we haven't been able to get this, that we've taken all these courses, that we've worked with therapists, with coaches, we've gone to healers, and this shit keeps popping up. When you can address that, you have removed a huge block from your client's buying, because shame, guilt, feeling small does not allow us to move forward in a powerful way and invest in ourselves. So when you can explain to your clients it's not about them, that they haven't gotten results, that there's always been a piece missing, or there's been something that hasn't been done correctly or explained right, you release, like, that in of itself is a gift that you give to them. And then you also put them in a mindset of being much more willing to move forward and to feel hopeful and to feel excited about what's coming and about the potential of what could happen working with you. So that was number 3. Make sure you explain how you're different, how you're unique. Number 4, oftentimes clients will not buy because it feels too hard for them. And that's, again, is a perspective they have about themselves. They don't know, if they're going to be able to do it, if it's going to work for them, if they're going to be able to do the work. People value ease of implementation and transformation. They want to know it's going to be simple. They want to know that they're going to be able to do it, that they're not going to fail. We hate failing. So people want to know that it's going to be somewhat easeful, if not easy, easeful. So you want to address in your messaging, in your offers, in the conversation you're having with your potential client, in your pitch up front, what is it that they like, why what you're doing is easy. Yeah, so ease is critical, and how can I be realistic too? That's a great question. you don't want to lie, obviously. So you want to tell people, and that's part of number one, like getting clear, like who this is for. You want to tell people, like, this is what you're going to need to do this. But this is the process I take you to, and it gets to be easy. And that's each of us is going to have a specific way where we make the work easier for our clients. And that's for you to decide. Like, so for me, my process is it can literally be done in 60 to 90 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. So in less than 10 hours, you can have all your marketing. And I have 3 simple steps. They're not easy, they're simple. That doesn't mean that they're not going to push people. So what I might say to someone is, hey, my process is simple and it's fast, but you have to find the courage to do it. You definitely will have to book some times and implement. So I'm still telling them that, like, I'm not going to wave a wand and suddenly they're going to end up with 100+ new leads every month, and that they're going to end up with double to triple the sales calls that they're used to. Like, they're going to have to do the work. I can't wave a magic wand. And so for me, I think it would be about figuring out, like, again, what is it that you do that's a little different that actually makes it easier to see change and to anchor in the change. So you want to let them know up front, like, what is it that they're not going to need to do or not going to need to have. Maybe they don't need to be techie. They don't need to do big draining launches. They don't need to meditate every day for 45 minutes a day. So, like, I know Sharon's business, like for Sharon, that might be something that you talk about, like this sense of, I can help you break through those blocks, find your unique voice, find your visibility, live your purpose and your passion without needing to journal every day for an hour, without needing to create a whole bunch of law of attraction maps and meditate every day. Because I know that none of those things are things you do in your business. So your clients are going to be attracted to the kind of ease that you provide. And I think it's important for us as practitioners, as leaders and entrepreneurs, is to know, what is it our clients don't want to do and don't want to have to put up with? What is it they've tried before that hasn't worked for them? And can we address that? So my clients, for example, are usually clients who do not want to do challenges and big draining launches over and over and over. Like, that seems terrible for them. That's draining. It's expensive. They don't want to spend the money on ads, and it's just not who they are. So I'm going to address that. I'm going to address that. I'm going to give you a process to fill your books, to get booked out without burnout. And part of the no burnout is you're not going to have to spend your day on social media wasting away. You're not going to have to do one draining launch after another. You're not going to have to spend a whole lot of money on ads. Actually, you're not going to have to spend any money on ads, because I don't run ads. I don't do ads. And you're not going to, I don't know, have to be super techie and deal with a bunch of funnels and a bunch of stuff that blocks most of us from moving forward. So you want to figure out, what is it that you want to address with your clients that they're telling themselves as a story of why it's not going to work for them. And you want to tell them, you don't have to do any of that when you work with me. That's not part of what I do. It gets to be a lot simpler than what you imagine. Yeah. Yeah. Focus on what they're not going to need and what they're not going to have to do, so that you can ease the apprehension. You can ease already all these thoughts that come with, what if this doesn't work? Well, I've tried this, I've tried. No, forget all of that. You don't need to worry about any of that. In some ways, the sales process is already, you're already working with them. You're already releasing the guilt, releasing the shame, releasing the worry. Like, you're helping them empower themselves and step into their own sovereignty, step into their own excitement, and really step into what is possible for them by removing all the shit they tell themselves or they have put in the way of moving forward. Number 5, people often don't buy because it will take too much time for them to get results. Now, this is especially true for you if you have a longer program. This is my program, the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, is essentially a year. It's an 8 months program, and then I offer 4 more months as bonuses, essentially. So I keep working with them for a full year. Why? Because I think transformation takes time. And I think that tweaking in business, especially tweaking, takes time. And having support of an amazing community and of somebody you can come talk to and go deep with is valuable over time. But that is also one of the main excuse that I get for not moving forward. People are like, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to commit for a year. Ooh, I don't want to wait a year to get results." And so one of the things I've put in place is I've let them know what they get right away and how quickly they can start getting results. And that's one way of removing that objection. So you want to tell a client, "Hey, when you sign on, this is what right away we'll do this. Right away you'll get access to this." And you can expect to start seeing some major shifts within the first 60 days, or you can expect to start seeing this, this, and this within the first 60 days. In the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, I essentially make available right away what I call my 6-figure freedom foundation, which is essentially content, how to grow your audience, how to create an irresistible offer, and my messenger magic. So how to start converting sales and getting into conversation with people. And in my program, people will start getting clients in month 1. People will not only pay off their investment with me and then some within the first month or 2 or 3. I have clients right now who have literally quadruple or 5x the investment they actually put in me, and that's in 3 months. So you want to essentially tell people how quickly things can change. And again, we don't want to lie. We don't want to tell people they're not going to have to work long term, but we want to get them to see that it doesn't have to take time, that it can be quick, and you're going to give them right away. You're going to give them things that they can count on will create shifts and differences. If your program is 3 months, or if your program is 60 days, probably that's not going to be a major objection you get. But if your program is more than 3 months, then you want to address that. You want to address how quickly shifts and transformation can start happening and can start showing up, and why your program is the time that it is. So that's number 5. And number 6, this is the last one. People will often not buy because they don't see the full value of the transformation. So you want to show, you want to show what they're going to get out of it, but you want to also show your client how that's going to absolutely shift and transform their lives over time. Like, what else will their program shift in their lives? What becomes possible long term for them? So if you've got someone, like for me, for example, if somebody comes on a sales call or on a call with me and they have, I don't know, they have teenagers or they have middle school kids, they're not thinking potentially about college maybe right away, but that might be something I bring up, that what I'm going to teach them is going to make it possible for them to send their kids to whatever school they want without having to get in debt. And that's a way for me to essentially give perspective to that client about how what I'm going to share with them, not only do they get value for the year that they're with me, but they get value for multiple years after. And their families get value. So obviously I work in the business field, so I can do that easily. But if you're not in the business field, that's part of what you've got to start playing around with, is what's the lifetime value? What becomes possible long term for my client when they work with me and they get the solution that I provide. And then you want to essentially start putting that out there, either in writing or in your speech and in your marketing. What's really exciting, you can share this, like what's really exciting to me about the work I do is that my clients end up XYZ for the rest of their lives. And their kids are experiencing this, and their partners are experiencing this, and they're retiring in this way, and like they're moving. And depending on what you do, that's an idea and a thought that needs to be in your mind, is how am I literally like changing people's lives, not for the 6 months that they're with me, but for their entire lives, and maybe even for the legacy that they're leaving behind. That's going to help a lot minimize money objection. Because if people can see that what you're offering is going to ripple out into every area of their lives and over time, then whatever you're asking for today is going to seem very small compared to what becomes possible for them. So you could literally, like an easy way to do that is you could literally on your sales page, like have a question and then address this. So, who is this for? And then you address it. Like, what will you walk away with after working with me? And then you address it, put a few bullet points. How is this program different and unique from everything else out there? And then you address it. How the way I'm going to make it simple and easy for you, and then you address it. Or what you will not have to do in this program to get result, and then you address it. Like literally, I'm moving through all these objections I just went over with you. How much time will it get for you to start seeing result? You address it. What's possible for you long term? How will this program change your whole life? You address it. You have literally addressed every single thing that people will use to essentially talk themselves out of moving forward. So you can address it clearly like that in a sales page. You can also, when you're pitching, you can literally like have it as part of your, um, if you're using actual designs and, you're moving through like we see, then have that on the screen, like the question and the answer, and move your clients through it. And if you are on a sales call, it's got to be a little more subtle, but you want to find subtle ways here to address it. And it could be not subtle. You could literally say, let me tell you what becomes possible long term, what I've seen become possible long term for my clients when they work with me. Let me tell you what you won't have to do in this program and why this is the best program out there. Let me tell you how quickly you can see results and how quickly my clients are seeing results. You address all these things and you remove one objection after the others. So that is what I have for you. As I stated at the beginning of this live, I want to make an invitation to you. If you're ready to quantum leap in your business in 2022, if you're ready to design a really simple, aligned business that creates essentially twice the results, brings in clients with having to do a lot less work, having to put out a lot less effort, and cutting your time in half, then I want to work with you. And I want to invite you on a one-on-one call. So in this call, like the whole point of this is to essentially help you fill your offers with a lot more ease, without having to sacrifice yourself essentially, or your freedom or your joy. So I call these aligned business breakthrough sections, and it's an hour to 75 minutes with me where we partner together to see what needs to be tweaked, what needs to be added or removed from your marketing, from your offers, for you to expand your results with a lot more ease and essentially to start getting booked out without all the burnout. I'll look at everything in the session. You and I are going to walk through your whole business. I'm going to look at everything from your messaging to your offer, to your marketing, to your sales, to your mindset and the blocks that are there to kind of figure out what's getting in the way and exactly what you need to start doing differently to not only get better, but also more consistent results. And then I'm also going to look at how you can simplify your business, because a lot of us are caught in the hamster wheel, in the throwing spaghetti on the wall, in the hustling. And I want you to have a successful business while reclaiming your time. I work marketing wise in terms of content, doing this, like I probably work maybe 5 to 6 hours a week, about an hour every day, 5 days a week. And then I probably do about 15 hours of client contact. So that's time I'm spending getting paid, right? Like, so overall, I work about 20 hours a week. I have plenty of time for me, for what I love to do, for learning, for relaxing, for being a dog mama, for being a good wife, for cooking, for life. Because if you don't love your business, if you don't love your life, then it's not success and it's not sustainable long term. So part of these calls is really figuring out what needs to shift in the way you run your business and how to make it easier, how to make it simpler, and also how to essentially double your results, working half as much and putting half as much effort. So together we're going to create essentially a blueprint to effortless success for you, and it's going to be unique to you. And then I'm going to talk about how I can help you achieve your goals and actualize your purpose in your life, in your business. So this isn't a sales call at all. This is you and me working together for a full hour plus to create a lot more impact in your business fast and from a place of total alignment, enjoyment, and flow. If at the end of that call, you and I decide we are a really good fit and you got a shit ton of value from this call and you want to continue working with me, then I will make an invitation. So a lot of people are afraid to get on calls because they've been bamboozled. And that's what I call that shit. Like you give your call a really funky, cool name, but then you're walking people through a sales call and you're actually not really doing anything of what you said. Yeah, Sharon says I'm the brainstorm queen. That's right, I'm the brainstorm queen. I can literally talk with someone for like half an hour and see exactly what needs to be shifted and reconfigure their offer to make it like absolutely amazeballs. And it's actually super fun for me. So a lot of people don't want to get on calls because they've been bamboozled. They think they're going to get something, but then it's like a little switcheroo where you're not getting any of that. I'm just walking you through an actual sales calls. I don't do that. I'm going to spend an hour with you, mentoring you, coaching you, partnering with you, brainstorming with you to essentially level up your business and get to that next level. And only at the end, if both of us decide that this was an amazing call and you got an amazing value and you want to keep doing this, then we'll talk about working together. Because I offer so much of my time and so much of my energy in these calls, and I only offer a few of them a month. And they're literally reserved for people who are truly ready to up level. They're reserved for people who are really ready to step in their leadership, ready to take their business to a different place. And they're actively looking for support. They're actively looking to do just that. So if you want to partner with me in making your business amazing and maximizing your result, doubling your result, tripling your result, working so much less than you're working now, then I want you to click on the link and I want you and I to spend an hour together on me and chat and see what you need to do to have that happen. And then we'll take it from there. That's it. All right. The link is in the description of this live. For those of you who are still here, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon, by the way, absolutely amazing energy healer, biofield tuner. She does these absolutely amazing crystal bowl sound bath that break through all the shit that's in the way. Definitely get in touch with her if you want some of her magic. Bye, guys.